everybody, and welcome to another Cricut craft tutorial. Before we get started, be sure to check out my Instagram listed right there. It's really cool over there. I post lots of fun stuff on my stories and crafts, especially stuff that I don't do tutorials for, so you can kind of see some behind the scenes stuff. In today's tutorial, we're going to do some print and cut for a QR code. Now, this QR code can be used in a lot of different ways. I put mine on a little keychain, but you could use this on so many things and you could really do a lot with it. You can link your QR code to anything that you want. So this is great if you have an Etsy shop, if you have a YouTube channel, anything like that. This is a really great opportunity to take this and be mobile with your promotions. Really fun, really easy to do, and the website that we're going to use offers a lot of different options for your QR code design. I'll link everything that we're using down below along with the website, so be sure to check the video's description for all of that information. Let's get started. I can't wait to show you how to do this.
Whatever we do it just for fun.
I'm going to link this website down below, but it is a QR code generator, and this is one of my favorite ones because it offers you a couple options, especially if you sign up for their free account. So I'm going to link this to my website, but there are a lot of options of things that you can link to. So you can link them to business information, a ratings page, events, Facebook, songs, images, whatever you really want to link to. So let's say you wanted to offer somebody a free printable PDF of something that you are offering. You can do that. You can absolutely link them right to a PDF, but we are going to link to a website. So go ahead and click website. And what you're going to do is click the word next. Now it gives you this little like preview thing. It really doesn't do anything right now. So click next. And over here is where you're going to type in the link to your website. Now, like I said, I'm just going to use mine. So it's already in there, but you just type in or paste whatever website you want to put in. And then you can just click over here and it'll show you the preview of your QR code. Go ahead and click next. Now this is where you can kind of start to personalize it, make it whatever you want it to be. You can really change a lot of these things. So like I have this really cute Scan Me one, and you can change the color. So let's say I wanted it to be purple. I can choose that and kind of pick a purple up here, and it will change the color of the wording. There are lots and lots of options. So you can click all frames and see which one that you like best. It's really up to you. There are some really, really fun ones. And like I said, it's going to depend on what you want to put it on as to kind of what design you want to go with. There are these really cute restaurant ones too that I thought were really adorable. So I just wanted to show them to you. But there are some really fun frames and different things that you can choose from. I'm just going to go with the plain old Scan Me. And I'm actually going to change this color to something that's a little closer to my color palette for my branding. And then here's another cool thing that you can do. You can kind of change up what your QR code looks like. So you can do little dots, splotches, lines. You can do like full squares. It's really up to you and what you want it to look like. And again, you can change the color here to pretty much anything that you want. So let's say I wanted to keep it within brand. I could do that. I actually, for my own personal preference, and I think it works a lot better on everybody's phone, I like that you can just keep it black. I think it works a little better. But what's really fun is that you can upload your logo to these. So I have uploaded my logo previously, but I'll show you guys. So I'm just going to choose my logo and upload it. And look at how cool. It puts your logo in the middle of your QR code. And then you can still scan your QR code, but it is like logoed to you, which I thought was really fun. So we're going to do this as a print and cut for a keychain. So I'm going to go ahead and leave it as is. If you wanted to cut this on vinyl, it's going to be really small, so I would recommend trying some things and seeing which one works best. But we'll go ahead and use this one. I'm going to click download. And it'll bring up and ask you where you want to save this. So I'm going to go ahead and just save this to my Cricut folder, and I'm just going to call it QR code website, so I can find it easier when I go to upload it to Cricut Design Space. Click Save, and we'll head over to Cricut Design Space so I can show you how to load this. We'll get it all sized for our keychain, and then we can actually assemble. It's going to be really fun. Depending on where you got your acrylic from, you should be able to download a really nice already set up SVG for it. So I got mine from 143 Vinyl, and I'm just using a circle. I like to keep stuff like this pretty simple, but it's really fun because you could make them for different seasons if you wanted to, different events, stuff like that. So mine is just a circle, which I believe is just under circle, and this is the 2.5 inch circle. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and select that, and it's going to ask me where I want to save it. So mine I like to keep in a pretty organized manner. So I have an acrylic blanks folder, and then I just click save. Now I already have this, so I'm just going to go ahead and overwrite it. It's totally fine. And all I'm going to do now is go over to my Cricut design space, click upload, and then click upload image, browse, and find where I saved that. Now in my PC, I can usually just go to my quick access if I've just downloaded it. It's right there at the start. Go ahead and click on that, and here is our circle. Just click upload. You don't need to do anything special to it because it's already an SVG. Select the image of your circle and click insert images. Now you're not going to want to resize this. This is sized to the size of our circle, so don't touch that. But the next thing we need to do is upload our QR code. So go ahead and click upload, upload image, and then browse. Now again, mine should be in my quick access, but you can go ahead and find it under whatever folder you saved it in. Now this one, we are going to choose complex. Click continue. Just click continue again. I know it looks really, really big, and it is, but it's fine. You want to save the print then cut image, then click upload. Now this may take a second. Cricut Design Space is a little bit slow when it comes to print then cut images. Select that image and click insert images. Now again, this is probably going to load really, really big, so it may take a second. I'm going to go ahead and just change the width over here just to 3 for now, just so we can get it fit on to our screen. Now, my screen is at 100%, but I can zoom in a little bit to make it a little more life size. That way I can get kind of a better look at what it's going to look like. Now, occasionally when I do this, my design space freaks out and moves. So if yours does that and it looks like everything disappeared, just use this little scroll bar on the side and this little scroll bar down here on the bottom to find your design. Now we are going to size this down a little bit. That way it will fit in our circle. Now you do want to make sure that you leave space for the hole. And then I just like to pretty much make this as big as I can. I want it to stand out really nicely on my circle. I think that looks like a really, really good size. Now, if you want, you can absolutely set an offset to this if you'd like to, but because this already has the really nice border around it, I really don't want to give it an offset, and it is going to cut these into separate pieces, but that's really okay with me. It's easy enough to line those up. Now again, you can really do anything that you want. You can have your QR code on both sides if you'd like. You can have your QR code on one side and maybe glitter or decorate the other side. But because I'm just showing you a quick way to do this, I'm just going to go ahead and put my QR code on both sides of my circle. So I'm just going to click duplicate and have it go ahead and cut out two. Now let's say I don't want to waste my printable paper. I'm going to show you a quick way to kind of fill your paper with your QR code. That way you're not wasting paper. So I'm going to go ahead and just delete the circle. We don't need it. We just use that for sizing. I have 2 for my little circle, which is perfect. And I'm going to go ahead and zoom back out to 100%. That way we can get a good view of this. The next thing I'm going to do is open up a shape and use a square. We're going to make the square the size of our printable area, meaning it can go 6.75 wide by 9.25 high. So I changed my width to 6.75, clicked the little lock here in the center so that it can do the different proportions, and this is the size that we have to fill. Now again, I'm going to go ahead and zoom out again just so that this can fit in our entire screen. Now you'll see we're going to be able to fit a lot of these. So what I'm going to do is right click on this and send this to the back. Then I'm going to go ahead and put my little stickers here into my design. I think that looks pretty good for the 2 that we're going to use for our keychain. So like I said, we're going to fill this whole thing up. So I'm just going to duplicate and I'm going to make a couple of the same size because I think I can fit several of these all the way across. That way we can fit a couple of them that way. So we have some extras just in case. Then I'm going to go ahead and duplicate And I think I want to get rid of the bottom part for these bigger ones. So what you can do is use a shape, and I'm just going to grab a square. And I'm just going to move it so that it's under the little scan me part. Select the square and select the QR code and the square here. And then just click slice, and it'll get rid of that bottom scan me because you don't necessarily need it if you don't want it. So I'm just going to delete it because I don't really want it. For the bigger ones, you don't need it. But I'm going to make some bigger ones that I can use on other things. So I think I'll just try to fit a couple of these bigger ones in here. So I'm going to go ahead and duplicate. I should be able to fit 2 wide. And then I'm going to go ahead and duplicate. Now these are great. You can stick them on business cards, on your coffee mug, whatever you want to really put them on. These are great to help promote your business. Now again, you could kind of fill in all the space however you want to. It's up to you. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the square. You can either delete it or just hide it by using this eyeball here. Then what you want to do is select all of your codes and click attach. That's going to hold them all in place so that when your Cricut Design Space goes to cut them out, it's going to hold them where you have them so it doesn't space them out funny. If it spaces them out funny, it's not all going to fit on that same sheet because they like to give a little extra space between the stickers, and I don't do that. Now, when you click Make It, it's going to give you this really handy dandy screen, and it's going to show you what it's going to look like when it prints. So you'll see here now we have everything fitting within our printable area. Once you're happy with that and make sure everything fits, go ahead and click Continue, and you're going to see the option to send to printer. I'm going to click that, and it's going to ask us how many copies we want. I'm just going to make 1 copy. I don't really need any more than that. I like to leave the bleed on because it does give you a little bit of a chunky border so that it cuts around in your blue and doesn't leave a lot of like white around the outside. And then I like to use my system dialog. That actually makes it so that you can really choose the print quality of your item and things like that. So when you click print, it's going to open up your printer preferences. In your printer preferences, make sure you have the correct printer selected. Click the word preferences, and then it's going to ask you a couple of things. So you're going to choose your quality here, and I like to turn that to high. Then go under more options and turn off high speed print. Click OK, and then click print to send to your printer. We're ready to load our paper into our machine. So all I've done is loaded it onto my mat in the upper corner, kept it really, really straight. So what I'm going to do now is load this into my machine. And this was done with an inkjet printer. It's an Epson ET2720. So what this is going to do now is just double check the length of my material because I'm using the Maker 3. And then it's going to ask me to check my blade, and then it will go through and scan and cut everything. Once it's done cutting these out, I always do like a little test just to see that it actually cut through. Make sure we got a good cut on these. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a pin pen, and I'm just going to try to lift a corner of one of the stickers down here at the bottom and just kind of check and make sure it seems like it cut. And it does, so I'm going to go ahead and unload. Now again, remember we did cut some extras, so we're only going to use 2 of these ones at the top. We can go ahead and get rid of our machine for now and put this off to the side because we're going to cover our keychain in some glitter. So an important thing to remember is that these come with a protective coating on them, so you're going to want to peel that off. Now it could be paper, it could be plastic, it could be white, could be blue. Just depends on where you got it from as to what kind of coating it's going to have on it. Now I do like to place a piece of cardstock under mine. I also have it on top of a silicone mat. But because we're going to be adding glitter to it, I like to put some cardstock or parchment paper under it to catch the extra glitter. Having a silicone brush can be super helpful as well for this process. And then I like to leave the coating on the other side. So whatever side I'm not working on, I like to leave the coating on that. So what you're going to do is take some UV resin. And I just use this, don't ask me to pronounce this brand. I have no idea how you pronounce it. But this is what I use. I'll link it down below. This has been my favorite so far. I've been really pleased with how it comes out. I think it looks really nice and it cures pretty well. So what you're going to do is just squeeze a decent amount. There's not like an exact measurement. You really just kind of need to start playing and figure out what works best for you. And then all I'm doing is kind of swirling it out from the middle to the edges. Now this doesn't need to be a real thick coat of UV resin because we're going to put another coat on top. I like to place my resin onto my blank, and then I like to add my glitter. There's a couple ways you can do this. You can mix this in a mixing cup, like a little medicine cup, to put your glitter in and then put your UV resin together and put it on here. But I just don't like that method. It's like I said, it's all how you want to do it. There's no real wrong way. It's just whatever works best for you. Also, I am a person who really doesn't do well with UV resin. I'm not amazing at it. So forgive me if I make some little boo-boos while doing this. But you want to get this all the way to the edge. It can help to sand your blank to help the UV resin stick if you've been having like sticking problems. Occasionally the glitter will pop off if you don't sand it. Just because I don't typically sand, because I'm not typically too hard on mine. Like this one is just going to sit on a set of keys that stays in my purse, so it's not going to get hot and cold and all of that. But if you're going to be wearing, you know, have the keys out all the time and things like that, I would recommend sanding down your blank. So you want to make sure not to fill the hole in, but you do want to get all the way into the hole. And then if you've got any like little low spots, you can kind of move the resin around and see if you can get those to fill in. Can always add a little more resin if need be, but I think that will be fine for our glitter layer. So I'm going to use the jellyfish from Starcraft. I love this color. It's so pretty. So what I like to do is I will turn it on its shaker end and just give it a light tap and then tap it all over my blank. Now I'm going to do jellyfish on both sides, so you won't have to really like worry too much. But you can really do whatever you want. You can do glitter, you can do vinyl, and you don't need to put a real thick coat of glitter on. You can see it's a pretty light coat. There's very little that isn't on the blank itself. So I don't make too much of a mess with this, but I just put a pretty light coat on, enough that it kind of covers it. I'm going to let this sit for a few minutes because I want the glitter to sink into our UV resin. And then we will use a UV light, which is one I got off Amazon. I'll link this one down below. I really like it. This one is pretty inexpensive, has a little handle. And then I did have to put painter's tape over the sensors because this has a sensor for the hands, but this works really well. We'll leave that under the light for about 4 minutes. Seems to work really, really well. And then what we'll do is flip it over, put glitter on the other side, and we'll do all of the glitter and UV resin, and then we can put our stickers on. We are ready to go ahead and cure this. So what I'm going to do is take my UV light. It is on. I'm going to place it on top of this, and we're going to let this sit for, like I said, about a minute and a half. I usually go closer to like 4 minutes though, just to be safe. So I'm going to go ahead and let this cure, and then we'll come back and do the other side. So this side is now cured after being under our UV light. So I'm going to flip this over, and I'm going to go ahead and put more glitter on the other side. So I like to do glitter on each side, then I like to flip it over and put the final coat of UV resin on. That way I don't have to clean off my parchment paper in the middle of like working with my UV resin. So we're gonna go ahead and again do the same thing. So I'll go through this part pretty quickly since you guys have already seen this part done. So now that we have both sides cured, what I'm going to do is take this off, and I'm just going to dust off the back here because I'm sure it got some glitter on it, and I'm just going to kind of make sure to dust off the front just a little bit just to get any of like the residual glitter off. And then I'm going to go ahead and put this glitter to the side. I'll put this back in the container later, but we can just kind of move it off to the side for now. And then what you're going to do is take your resin and your little keychain. We're going to put one more coat of resin on this on each side just to smooth it out, make it look really nice and smooth and pretty. And then when we can cure each side, and then the last step will be to add the little sticker for your QR code. So again, you're just going to do the UV resin just like you did it the first time, just spreading it out and getting it all the way to the edge. And you want to make sure you have a nice even coat. So again, I kind of just move in little swirly circles. That also seems to help pop any of like the micro bubbles that might be in your UV resin. But what I'm going to do is just make sure to be really careful around the hole here and just make sure that all of my keychain is nicely covered. And then I'll cure this again and I'll do the other side. I don't think you guys need to watch me do all of it. I just add a little bit of UV resin there because I was running a little low on that side. And then once everything is cured, I'll show you guys how to put the QR code on. Now that we have both sides of this cured, we can add our little QR code. So I'm going to go ahead and peel this off of our backing here, which sometimes it's not so easy. So that's where like a pin pen will come in handy. You can just simply kind of lift under the little edge and it'll lift up. It's not always super easy to get them off. So I'm going to go ahead and peel this one off. Now remember, mine comes in two pieces. So I'm going to go ahead and line this up. That looks pretty good. Now again, you could put the UV laminate over this if you wanted to. You could also put UV resin over this. It's really up to you and how you want to do it. But for me, I don't really mind it without it. Plus, then if I ever want to change it out, I can peel it off a lot easier. And then I don't have to worry about having to redo the whole keychain. And I can just kind of do it how I want. Like, see, I kind of messed that up. I didn't get that even. So because I didn't get that even, it looks weird. So I'm going to go ahead and scooch it over a little bit. And it peels up, no problem. You can peel it up, but it won't like come off in like 2 seconds. So that's what's kind of nice. All right, apparently I'm just really bad at getting that even. That's fine though. Actually, I don't mind it offset like that. So there's that one. So let's go ahead and put another one on the back. And then, like I said, we have these big ones that we could use on other things if we want to. We'll go ahead and get these ones on, and then I'll show you guys how it works. So to use your QR code, you're going to open the camera on your phone, and then you're just going to hold your phone over your QR code, and it'll ask you if it wants to open in Safari. Go ahead and click that, and then look, it takes me right to my website. Super easy, really, really fun, and it's, like I said, you can really use it to go anywhere that you want and share anything that you want. So it's really, really fun, really easy. Now you can add some hardware to this to make it a keychain. I'm really bad at that, so I hate doing that on camera. But you can see how really easy this was to do. Very, very simple. And again, you can add a layer of UV resin on top if you wish to, but you don't necessarily need to. If you have any questions, please let me know in those comments down below. I'm always happy to answer those. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. I put out new videos all the time. Hit the bell icon, that will let you know when I post new videos. I hope you guys have a great day and happy crafting!